Welcome, welcome. This is Christy Wuchukwu's Brilliance TV show, and do I have a treat for you today? I'm going to have my first guest at 4, which is right now, as a matter of fact, and the second guest will be at 6 p.m. at our regular time. This is the show where we spotlight today's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, unique and most successful individuals. And if you would love to appear on this show, please contact us at info@chosenpathglobal.com. Once again, at info@chosenpathglobal.com. And today I have my first guest at 4 p.m. We decided to shake things up today. And you are in for a treat, as I said. And I'm going to go ahead and read his bio. His name is Shemere Mallard. He is a native-born son of Texas, graduated from the University of Texas, Pan American, with a BA in sociology. He owns and manages medical devices representing several multi-million-dollar companies. Shemere is the CEO and founder of Mallard LLC. He's a corporate trainer, transformational speaker, and a results coach, facilitating strategic goal planning for individuals and businesses wanting to take their personal life as well as business to the next level. So I am super excited to introduce Shemere Mallard. Shemere, welcome.
Christy, thank you. How's your day going?
It is going awesome. Thank you so much for agreeing to come in. You could have been doing other things, so I don't take that lightly. I really appreciate you coming today. So I've always said that behind every successful person, there's always a journey that takes them there. So pull up the curtain a little bit and take us behind the curtain and tell us how it all began for you.
I absolutely agree with your statement. Behind every successful person, there's a journey. And I'm honored to be on this show today to share my journey with you all. I grew up in Houston, Texas, and I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. I grew up in what we call in America sometimes a broken home. That's usually when you'll have either the father raise the kids or you'll have the mother raise the kids. I was raised by my mother and grandmother in a home in which we had a lot of struggles. My mother and grandmother, they worked a lot of times Monday through Sunday just to make the ends meet. And there were times in life that the ends did not even meet. And my sister and I, we would have to often either cook dinner for ourselves or we would have to just basically keep ourselves busy until our parents got home. And at a very young age in elementary, what was interesting is I was labeled a slow learner. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term remedial classes. Usually, those are the kids in which they say they're the dumb kids. So at school, what was interesting enough is I had to actually hide my books because I had developed such a low self-esteem. I had a lot of insecurities because when kids would sometimes see our books, they would laugh at us and they would point at us and they would say, hey, those are the dumb kids. We're the smart kids. And I would see how they were different than me and their books were different. And they had different teachers. And a lot of times it made it seem like the teachers would actually feel sorry for us. And I had to live with that label because labels do hurt. Labels are placed on all of us, whether good or bad. And I've learned that labels, good or bad, that are placed on us, we will live up to those expectations of those labels. So I was not living my best life starting off. And at a young age of 12, I was molested. And I remember the time when I was molested, it was by an older woman. And I felt like I was going to fall apart because of that. And then I had what I call a telephone dad. He was the type of dad that would call me and say, hey, I'm trying to build a relationship with you. I want to get to know you. I'm going to come pick you up on Friday. And I got excited. I was elated. I told my friends at school, my dad is going to come pick me up. I don't know him. He doesn't know me, but we're going to build a relationship. And then on Friday would come, I had my bags packed, and guess what? He called me. And guess what? He said, something came up. I can't come spend time with you this weekend. And then it happened the second time, and then it happened the third time. And I remember after the third time it happened, I took the phone and I threw it against the wall. And once I threw it against the wall, I actually said several curse words so he would hear me. And then because of that situation, I began to develop a lot of anger, resentment, rage. There was times in sports when I would want to literally hurt kids. So being labeled a slow learner, being molested at a young age, and being rejected by my father time after time after time, I had to, unfortunately, I carried some of that stuff with me into my 20s. And I remember in my 20s, I was laying on my bathroom floor. I was literally on my face. I would begin to form puddles on the ground because I was so angry from the things that happened to me in my past. And I remember a saying that says that you may be over your past, but your past is not over with you. I was facing an epiphany at that moment. See, the birds were chirping on the outside, the sun was shining, but on the inside of me was darkness. If you're hearing my voice right now, whoever it is that you're seeing me, you're hearing my voice, you might have been through some things in your past. But I want to explain to you and I want to tell you that you have unlimited potential inside of you. And a lot of times the circumstances from our past, they will blind us from our true potential. I'm reminded of a quote in which says, the impulse to dream has been slowly beaten out of us because of the circumstances of life. So did I decide to stay down and to commit suicide because that was what's going on in my mind, to literally give my life up? Did I decide to do that? No. I decided to rise up. I decided to get up. I decided that I was going to look at myself in the mirror and I was literally going to begin to speak life into myself. Because what I've learned in life is that some of the most powerful words that we'll ever hear are the words that we say to ourselves. It's estimated that we experience up to 40 to 50,000 thoughts a day. And out of all of those thoughts, according to psychologists, 80% of those are negative. Now, let me also tell you, is that it's also estimated in a book by businessman Murray. He says that we have either said we can't, or someone has told it to us, or we have thought we can't 150,000 times by the age of 17. But by the age of 17, we've only heard it or we've said we can 5,000 times. You know, it's funny, as a little kid, I always loved that book, The Little Engine That Could. Because things will happen to you. You're going to be faced with fiery furnaces of this world. I don't know what's happened to you in your past. I don't know the situations that you've had to overcome. But what I do know is that you have oxygen in your lungs and you have blood rushing through your veins. You have an opportunity to do something great, to be great. And then I remember, after making a decision to get up after being knocked down because of the circumstances in life, I began to read books like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read books such as Think and Grow Rich and 1 Minute Millionaire, and books by John Maxwell and Les Brown, Live Your Dreams. So that's a little bit of the journey that I had to go through, but I don't regret now having to go through it. It was painful going through it, but like they say in the gym, when I used to be a personal trainer and I would train my clients, I would say, no pain, no gain. And life is going to be filled with a lot of pain. So, Christy, that's a little bit of my journey.
Wow. You know, thank you for sharing with us. You know, as I'm sitting here listening to you, haven't met you at North Carolina at BBS speakers training, I would not have thought that you have this story inside of you. If somebody's looking at you, I know you were on the stage that day, and in no way would I believe or have thought that you had gone through all this and still able to emerge and do what you do right now, managing multi-million-dollar company. And Nora, I'm not quite sure what you're doing. Could you please? I'm sorry about that, the technology. Anyway, so thank you for sharing with us. You know, it's always those stories that we go through in our childhood, those incidents that we go through in our childhood. Oftentimes, if it's not dealt with, will hold us back. But I've
Absolutely.
always said that sometimes those stories are really where we're able to help other people because it's something we've been through and we're to help other people go through it as well. So thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
So as I understand right now, you are helping a lot of individuals, businesses, as well as individuals to achieve their goals. Tell us how that came about.
Well, one of the things I've always loved doing, and even when I was going through what I was going through, I love helping people and I love encouraging and I love to somehow get people to realize the greatness that really lied within them. And what I do now as a corporate trainer, some individuals may need me to come to their company and speak on customer service. Some individuals may need me to come in and speak on leadership training. Some or leadership. Some may need me to come in and do soft skills or emotional intelligence because it's important to know yourself. If you can't know yourself, you can't grow yourself, you can't grow your company. And to emotionally be able to overcome different situations. So as a trainer, I do those different types of trainings and much more. And also as a transformational speaker, some people just need you to come in and change up or make a shift in their company or make a shift in their school. So I'll come in and I'll share my story. And I'll also give different tips and points that they can use and take away with them so they can live their best life. So they can see and realize the unlimited potential that lies within them. And I also coach clients as well. I have an office where we'll get together, we'll meet. And a lot of times my clients, they need accountability, but they need some structure in their life and they need goal setting. And they need me to help them plan out either their agenda for business or life. And that's what I love to do. I love to be able to help people in any way that I can. And one thing that I've learned too is that I will refer people to someone that can help them if I can't help them. Because if a company asks me to come speak on accounting, I won't speak on accounting. I'll find a speaker that I know that speaks on accounting. And I've learned in life, to be successful in life, you have to be authentic and have integrity and show people that you care. But that's what I love to do. It's a passion. To me, it's not even a business. It's what I was born to do. You heard that saying, Christy, there are two important days in our life: the day that we were born and the day that we found out why we were born.
You know, I'm glad you touch on the fact that if you can do something, you refer them to someone else. And I think of Trevor Ertz, and you probably know Trevor Ertz from Black CEO, and he is on to this program where it's called Board on Demand, right? Where you have a board of individuals that are experts in different fields, because the fact is one person cannot help you in everything you want to do in your business, in your life. So you have a board of individuals who are experts in different things. And it makes a lot of sense to me. If you can do it, refer it to somebody else who can. So thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to follow up and ask you, what is, as you help your clients get results, provide structure so that they can achieve their goals, what is the number one thing that people have to have in mind when you're trying to set goal?
When we're trying to set a goal?
Yes.
Well, first and foremost, the thing that I do first is I send them a needs assessment. I want to find out how's the culture currently, how's the vibes, as we say in their company, and then see what they've done successfully, see where they probably don't need much help. And then I would also find out where is it that they're struggling. And as I meet with the CEO or meet with the COO or CFO, I'll ask them certain questions to be able to pull out the things that I need to know. And when it comes to goal setting, and this is just goal setting overall, I believe in life that we have to be specific as we set goals. It's one thing to set your goal at the beginning of the year, and I believe we should start working on our goals now for next year. There's things that I'm setting up now for next year that I have projects, and a lot of times we wait for January 1st. But really the biggest goal that we must have is to set it early and be specific on the type of projects that you want to work on and make sure that it's in alignment with your purpose. For example, I was having a conversation with a friend today, and he just said, what type of business should I start? And I asked him, what are you passionate about? Because we can start any type of business, or you can start any type of business, but if you're not passionate about it, then all it's going to be is a business. I had a goal to add another stream of income to my family's business or to our portfolio. And I started a tax business in 2015. And I didn't succeed at it. But I don't like taxes. I pay my taxes, but it's not something that I really enjoy. Once I got into it, I did the best I could, and then I did not make any money. I failed at it. I actually lost money. So now I use that as an example of goal setting. Whenever I have a goal in mind, I make sure that it's in alignment with my purpose. So if your goal is not in alignment with your purpose, you're going to be very dissatisfied when you're working on it. It's a higher chance of you quitting and giving up. And I also put timelines on my goals. What do I want to do in the first quarter of the year? What is it that you want to do in the first quarter? January, February, March. What is it that you would like to accomplish? And then you got to put how. How are you going to do it? Actually, why, and then how. Then what is it going to take? The resources. So I could be here just for 2 hours talking about goal setting, but I make sure that we are very detailed on every single goal. We set a timeline, and then we also ask ourselves, what's the why for our family and what's the why for the business? Because there's two different elements there, business and family. Because a lot of times we do certain things that only benefits the business, but we need to find out how is it going to benefit our family. So me having my own company, that benefits me business professionally, but it also benefits me, my family, because I have more time to spend with them. And then I also encourage individuals to have follow-up. So my clients, we do a lot of follow-up with their goals. And also have an accountability partner. A lot of times, if you don't set goals, or if you set goals and you don't have anyone that you can follow up with, or if they follow up with you and hold you accountable, it's a good chance you won't be able to succeed at it. And you have to, of course, write them down. And I encourage people to look at your goals. Everyone's different. I have some clients that look at the goals every day when they wake up, just a brief glance at them. I have some people like myself that, including myself, I've written my goals down every day. 3 things I want to accomplish for that day and for the year. And then I have some that I'll tell them, hey, look at your goals every week. But make sure that you're consistent in whatever it is that you're doing. You have to have something that you're aiming at. You can't hit your goal if you don't know where to aim. My goal is not to become an astronaut because it has nothing to do with my purpose. My goal is to be a more productive corporate trainer, transformational speaker, and coach, and to have more products that can be more of a benefit for them. So automatically, my goal setting has a lot to do with my coaching and my speaking business. In the medical field, I stick to what I know, and I stick to what's beneficial for patients. And on top of that, I do believe in investing in other things. So I'll have usually a list of 3 things that I want to invest in for that year. And sometimes that will grow, and I can continue to add on to it. But there's so much, Chrissy, to say about goal setting. But most people don't write them down. They have their goals in here, but they don't have them on paper. You're more likely, according to statistics, to accomplish your particular goal that you have if you write it down and you look at it on a regular basis.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that you write your goal for the year, and every single day write a goal for the year, but you have it for every quarter. And then every single day, you look at your goal for some people, or for you, you look at your goal every day and you have 3 people that you're going to focus on.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, what's interesting is I've done some interesting things that works for me. Michael Jackson, actually, he used to do this. Michael Jackson used to write on his mirror in his bathroom. And I began to do that. And it's interesting, when you brush your teeth early in the morning, you look at it. You're forced to look at it, at your goal. 5 things you want to accomplish. Sometimes last year was get my book out, create more products. And I've been able to do that. But if you don't see it, it's easy to forget about it. So I simply tell people, find out what works for you. Some people, I tell them, have it right there next to your bed. Every day, take a look at it. But what's interesting is you're training your brain to take action. Everyone should read Josh Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, because in this book, he talks about how the subconscious mind works. That whatever is introduced to the subconscious mind, it will begin to execute. So if you're looking at your goals on a regular basis, you're telling yourself, because I believe in the power of affirmations. I literally look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, Shemere, today is going to be an amazing day. You have been born to win. You are not supposed to quit. You will never give up. You are God's best. I literally tell myself certain things. So what you're doing when you do that is you're training your brain for success, and you're training your brain for the day. You're training your brain to overcome any obstacle that may come your way. And even when you do that, there's still going to be some issues in life. But you're preparing yourself to be able to withstand any issue. Now, I will say this, that motivation is not enough. Being positive is not enough. You have to develop grit. And it's interesting, how do you develop grit? You just have to get used to being rejected from time to time in business and in life. And I've learned that I've developed a lot of grit over a period of time. That I've learned in life, there are a lot of people that aren't going to feel sorry for me, and I better not feel sorry for myself. If you want to accomplish anything in this world, they say you got to give 100%. I've learned you have to give 150%. You literally have to go the extra mile to make something happen in this world. But as you said earlier, there are people that have come into this country making millions of dollars. Some of them can hardly even speak English. But Christy, they have more grit than us. They have maybe a stronger why than us, because it's easy to be comfortable. But Brian Tracy says that the comfort zone is a danger zone. And I've learned in life that obstacles are going to happen. Expect obstacles to happen, but obstacles, they're not in the way. Obstacles are simply the way. They're the way to your purpose. They're the way to your gifts, the things that God has for you. They're the way. There's no way around it. But you have to go through the fiery furnace of this world.
You know, it's a coincidence that you talked about the subconscious, the power of the subconscious, because that's one of the books recommended by Dr. Ruben West. So I am looking forward to reading that book. So definitely you confirm the validity of that book. Absolutely. Again. So I'm definitely going to read that book. And also you talked about goal, and you talk about why wait till January to make your goal? Why not make today your January 1st? And if you know, I'm sure you know Shay Brown, and he always talk about make today your January 1st. And I totally agree, because sometimes we bash ourselves so much that we didn't get our goal accomplished. And oftentimes it drains our spirit. But if we can just forget about what already happened, what we did not accomplish, but focus on a new day, focus on a new year, focus on today being the January, it makes all the sense. So I definitely agree on that. And things that I didn't accomplish first and second quarter, I just basically begin to focus on it today rather than waiting till January and set up another goal to accomplish that. So tell us, what have you noticed, or what have you seen based on your training and your expertise from your clients What is the number one mistake that people make when setting an achievable goal?
The number one mistake is once you set, there's a couple of mistakes, but I would say is that we easily forget. We easily forget once January 1st hits, and then probably around January the 10th, people are saying they need to set their goals. And then they don't realize that they forget, number one, they set them and they don't look at it. They don't have a vision board. But then life happens. And the impulse to dream slowly beats out of them all the hope and joy and the possibilities for life. The issues of life beats out the impulse to dream, basically. So life will beat out all the impulses to dream, and they give up. People give up too easy. They understand it's not even so much about goals, but it's about process and consistency and discipline. I informed a friend today who said he wants to go back to college. I told him that you may not want to start with 12 hours. You haven't been in school in over 15, 17 years. Maybe just start with 3 hours. But truth of the matter is, my friend, you have to start somewhere. You cannot finish what you do not start. The most powerful thing that anyone can do in life is START. So people will set a goal, and then they'll either forget about the goal, life will happen and beat out the hope inside of them, and then and it'll remind them, hey, what about that goal you're talking about after you can't pay your phone bill or your water bill? But then they don't start. So we have to be disciplined and consistent. And we have to be able to handle the wiles of this world, the issues. Things are going to happen. But what you want is on the other side of problems and issues and trials and fear and doubt. So I would say the people give up too easy. That's probably number one. And then people just forget about their goals. Because it comes back to the subconscious mind. If I was to tell a 5-year-old, you can do anything you put your mind to. You can do anything you put your mind to. You can do anything you put your mind to. If I was to tell that 5-year-old every week until he's 20 years old, I guarantee you that 5-year-old, when he's 20, will be successful. Now, success is not really about money. Anyone can make money. But success, to me, what Earl Nightingale has said before, is the ideal realization of a worthy goal. So people just, they forget, they give up. And we live in a hopeless world. And they position themselves sometimes around hopeless people that speak death instead of speaking life. But that's what I always tell people. When you have something major that you're going after, position yourself around what I call a reference group. There was a Harvard psychologist who says that they're your friends, they're your family members, they're the individuals closest to you. And they determine up to 95% of your failures and your successes in life. So there are plenty of reasons.
I think you're absolutely right. I know in my own journey that once I decided that I am going to move into this entrepreneurial journey, that number one thing that I found that I had to do, and I did, and I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't hurt initially, but I get over it, and that is to weed some friends out of my life. Why? Because they are very toxic. And some of those friends I've been friends with them for so many years. And to let go was very difficult, but I knew that I had to do it because they were dragging me down and I wasn't getting where I want to go. Mm-hmm. So definitely the people that you surround yourself will definitely make a difference in your growth. And I tell people, it might be very difficult to do, but you have to do it to save your life because misery loves misery. And as long as you are there, you're dragging a bag so heavy that you cannot go anywhere with that bag. And I say, just take the trash and send it back to sender because there's no trash can around. And that's what I said. And was it difficult? Absolutely was difficult. But I knew that if I had to move from where I was to where I want to go, that I'm not going to take everybody with me. And sometimes in life, it hurts, but you've
Yeah.
got to do it to save your life, definitely. But you caught my attention with what you had there, untapped potential. Tell me a little bit about that.
So it was interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody, and I said, you have unlimited untapped potential inside of you, because the person has goals, the person has a purpose, but they didn't believe that they could actually do a lot with what they have. And that became my slogan, because I realized that when someone has found out why they were born and they begin to pursue their purpose and their passions in life, it's unlimited, meaning that each and every one of us should go to the grave empty. We should use up everything that is inside of us. At the same time, Les Brown, for example, he can give millions of speeches, and even one day when he's no longer here, guess what? He could have still given a lot more if he was still here. So your gift will continuously produce over and over and over again. And he will give speeches through me and through Ruben West and through all the people that have loved him and listened to him and have been his mentor. So it's unlimited. So I tell people, when you find your giftings in life, it's unlimited. And it's also untapped, meaning that you can always get better. There's so many things that you haven't even tapped into yet. See, Chris, even for you, you haven't tapped into the fact that you might have your own national TV show one day.
Amen.
On cable. So that's untapped for you. You understand your gift, it's unlimited and it's untapped, because there's a lot of shows you haven't given yet. You haven't even interviewed Oprah Winfrey yet. Morgan Freeman, you haven't interviewed them yet.
Hello.
And then potential. There are certain things that I'm just really not good at. And there's some things that I think I'm okay at and I can get better. I have potential. So as a speaker, I'm okay. I will never say I'm great. I will always say I'm okay and I can get better. So there's potential for me to get better. And there's potential for anyone that has their own TV show to get better and to improve. So when I say unlimited, untapped potential is inside of you, not because I say so, but because I know so, it's because everyone has an unlimited, untapped potential. And it's not up to someone else, it's up to them to pull all of that potential out of them, to discover what I call the diamond that has been hidden in a field of rocks, that they must pull up and pick up each rock to find that diamond. And the diamond simply represents the gifts and purposes of their life. So that is what that means.
I just want to remind everyone that we are talking to Shemere Mallard, the results coach, and he is dropping a lot of nuggets here. I wish you guys were here, and we're going to continue with the conversation. I just want to remind you that this show is where we spotlight today's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as unique and most successful individuals. And I would love for you to be a part of this show. So we're going to continue with the conversation. Shemere, I want to go back to what you said about goals. You know, when people think about setting goals, it can be overwhelming, especially for someone who's going to start something new that they have never done before. For example, business. It can be overwhelming as far as, what do I set as my number one goal? How do you make your clients, when you work with them, how do you make the goal palatable so that they're able to eat bite by bite?
Absolutely. That is a very good point. Les Brown says, by the yard it's hard, inch by inch, everything's a cinch. Don't think big, but don't act big right away. Think big, but don't act big right away. So when I started my own company, I filled out all the documents that we needed, the LLC forms, etc. And then I began to look at one product, not 10, one product that I can incorporate into my company. And then I gave myself a deadline And I gave myself a deadline of how many doctors that I can get on board. Can I get 5 doctors to use this product? I didn't go out and say, I'm going to get 100 doctors. I said 5 doctors. So if you're looking at a company, first and foremost, you have to understand your vision and mission statement. And you have to understand your why for doing it. Your why for doing it. And then you have to understand strategically, how is it that you're going to accomplish this? Meaning that if you have a particular product, where are you going to hold your product? Is it going to be sold online? Is it going to be sold in the stores? Have you done a feasibility study? What's the current population in your area? What is the average income in your area? Do people make $30,000, $45,000, $50,000? Have you did any questionnaires to some of your closest friends and family members, or maybe 100 people you've just seen on the street? And I really mean that. Or what type of product you have? Would it be viable for them? Would it be something they would purchase? But when it comes to goal setting, and you have a business, a lot of it has to also do with your business plan. As a conversation I was having last week with a friend of mine, he wants to start his own company. And I asked him, how much money do you have? What's the capital? He says, I only have $50,000. A lot of people want to start companies and they don't consider the cost. No man builds a house without considering the cost to build his home. So we have to consider the goal that you have. What is going to be the cost to actually achieve that particular goal? And it amazes me that some people, they don't consider the cost. They start a business and unfortunately, it doesn't last for some people because they didn't consider the cost. I considered the cost when I started my business, and it still failed, but I calculated everything that I knew. And then I added on top of that a couple more thousand just for startup. So does that help? You understand where I'm coming from? It's not just about setting deadlines and writing it down, but it's being very detailed when it comes to business.
So I'm going to follow up on that. Somebody is new to business. They don't want to get into business, but they want to write a goal on how to go about it. And they come to you to help. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps that you will walk them through.
Okay. Yeah, and there's actually several steps besides that I'll walk them through, but I'll give you a few things. First and foremost, and it's not necessarily a step, after understanding their business, okay, I'm going to ask them, how many books have you read regarding your business? Do you have a coach that knows about your business? I know someone, a client of mine that has their own pressure washing business. And they have a coach that is very successful in pressure washing, not in their area, but they have a coach for that. So I will ask them, number one, what is your goal as far as overall income that you want to make? The reason why I put income first, because a lot of people, including myself, when it comes to business, we're driven by money. You don't open up a business just to barely make it or break even. You open up a business to make a lot of money. So what is your goal? What type of revenue do you want to generate? And number two, I'll make sure and I'll ask them, listen, when it comes to your product, how many units would you have to sell to get to that particular number? So for example, if it's a speaker and they say, I want to make $5,000. Well, if you charge $1,000, you need to speak 5 times for the year, or for the month. I'm sorry, 5 times for the month. And then number 3, what is your goal target as far as customers to get in front of? How many people is it going to take to hit, for example, either speaking 5 times a month, or if it's 1,000 units of something that you need to sell? How many people is it going to take to hit that mark? It's going to take a lot more than 1,000, because you're going to hear more no's than you'll hear when it comes to yeses. And then we'll go into timelines. We'll go into your first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. We'll have short-term goals and long-term goals. And the goal is also when it comes to business. And goals and personal goals, business goals and personal goals are very different. So in business goals, I would have to also, once again, include capital. what's the goal that you want to start with regarding capital? A friend of mine said he needs 50,000. I told him you probably need more like 80,000 because there's always miscellaneous, always unexpected costs that are going to be included. And then how many employees? What's your goal for employees? Your first quarter of having your business, you're going to start with 2 employees. And then what's your third? And what is your overall, your second quarter goals? And what is your overall number of employees you will need to make sure this business after a year is running effectively so you can remove yourself away from the business and you can make money while you sleep or make money while you're on vacation. So when it comes to goal settings with business and personal lives is very different because a lot of it has to be, no matter what, strategic. But in business, people start companies all the time without considering, once again, the cost.
It's go ahead.
And then we do it over the 5-year span because businesses that are they're closed down usually is within 5 years. You want to get to that 5-year mark. And what is it you're going to say now?
So I'm just wondering, you do individual coaching that is not corporate. So if you're working with an individual that doesn't have to have an employee, they're just starting out, how would that be different from corporate?
So with an individual, corporate is going to be a lot more involvement because usually if it's corporate, it's group training, group coaching. So for example, I got invited to possibly coach some HR directors, human resources directors. So that's going to be a little bit different versus a one-on-one. I'm going to still ask certain questions. And if the person has never had their own company before we even talk about goals, I don't even talk about goals yet. I want to find out their why. I want to find out how much time they have allocated to actually run this business before you begin into goal setting. Because if someone wants to start their own company and you know it's going to take 10 hours a day and they only want to put 5 hours aside every day, then that's not a great match. And when it talks to individuals, I have to really tap into the amount of income that they have to invest in this versus if it's a group of individuals, let's say that want to start their own company versus a single individual, that single individual may have some hindrances there if they don't have the resources. I might have to help them and point them in the right direction or give them ideas on how to get the funding. So there's a lot of different factors that take place. Funding, time, location. I have a young lady that I just coached through her starting her own business, her own insurance agency. And one of the things I said is I shouldn't be your only coach. You should find someone that's your coach that's in the insurance business. So a lot of times too, I'll tell people, find someone that's doing exactly is what you're doing, what you desire to do. Like the person that had their own pressure washing business. They came to me mostly for accountability and goal setting, and I helped to structure their time or manage their activities. I really try to get away from time management. We really don't manage our time. We manage our activities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I've done group coaching where we did customer service group coaching, where I asked them particular questions on how the experiences that people received when they came into their establishment. So when it comes to coaching, there's a variety of coaching. You can do sales coaching to a group of individuals or to a single individual.
Wow.
And there's a variety of questions that I have prepared.
Okay. Well, I just want to follow up on one more question for you, and that is, I love the fact that you brought about investment, because oftentimes individuals may think they will be in business without investing in themselves. I'm not talking about the money, the investment that you do to buy product or materials, but in yourself. Can you share a light a little bit about how important it is for an individual to invest in themselves?
I believe that it's important for an individual to invest in their minds. It's important for individuals to invest in their bodies. I used to be a personal trainer. To this day, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I go to the gym and I lift weights, I do cardio. If I don't do that, I will not get stronger, I won't get better, I won't be as efficient as I could be from a physical perspective. So the same thing goes with our minds. If we don't work our minds out, how do we work our minds out? If we don't pick up a book and not just read it, but study it and understand what is it that we can pull away from this book and apply to our life, our minds won't be as strong as they could be. So I've read things like John Maxwell, How Successful People Think, How They Grow, How They Lead, Putting Your Dreams to the Test, books with Robert Kiyosaki. I've read real estate books, Norman Vincent Peale. I've read books that help me think at a different level. I also have a regimen every day. Wake up and pray, eat my Wheaties, thank God for another day. I find time to meditate also. Do you know that in the morning and at night, that's when your brain is like a sponge. That's when it's able to obtain and you can remember things easier. I have alone time. I have quiet time. I have time just to think. Dan Cathy, the owner of Chick-fil-A, they say he goes away every day to think for a few hours, just to think, just to meditate and think. And then he does the same thing every month for a few hours, but he goes away every year, I believe, is it for 2 weeks, just to think. A lot of people don't take any time to think. They don't take any time to set goals, to plan their life out, to desire to live the life they want. You know, there's a couple of areas of my life where I'm always focused on. My spiritual goal setting. How much closer do I want to get to the Lord? How much more scripture do I want to have living inside of me? There's wealth goals. How much money do you want? And there's family goals. What type of atmosphere do I want to create for myself and my family? Vacations. What kind of vacations do you want to go on? What kind of legacy do you want? When it comes to goals and the kind of life that you want to live, it's a vast range of methods that you can choose.
I want to shift gear a little bit and have you talk just for a minute. I got a chance to observe you guys. I wasn't in presence, but I got a chance to observe you and Les Brown and Tracy Ward and the rest of the crew. I believe Dr. Z was there as well. Mm-hmm. Can you give us an insight of that show?
Oh my goodness. Bringing Out the Millionaire in You was an event that it was absolutely amazing. It was amazing. It went by so fast, but we had such a great time. It was a full day workshop. We had several speakers, Marie Cosgrove, Milton Gonzalez, Tracy Ward, myself, and John Garcia. We had Ona Brown. We had, of course, the great Les Brown. And everyone had a particular subject. I spoke on bringing out the leader within you. The toughest person you'll ever lead is yourself. I shared my story, and I shared it in a way of leadership, as far as many people have to lead themselves, lead their families before they can lead their employees. And Les Brown, he ripped up the stage. Ona did her thing. And we know that people walked away feeling empowered, inspired, and ready to shake up this world. It was a great event.
And I'm sure
Terrence Lethbridge.
Go ahead.
My buddy Terrence Lethbridge, the MC of the event, he was phenomenal. He kept the crowd at a level of 10 when it comes to energy from 1 to 10. He had them at 11. He did such a phenomenal job emceeing the event. There's really none better than him. I have not seen all the events I went to. He is a bad boy. Then
I gotta bring him back here. I got to bring him back here anyway. So this is the time that you get to tell our audience how they can reach you. What do you have going on that they can be a part of?
Absolutely. I have a couple things working on. I'm working on a few products that I'm getting ready to release. But I want to be able to stay in touch with whoever's listening to me. Go to Facebook. It's at Shemere, CHISMERE, Mallard. You can find me. And I'm working on some local things here in McAllen, Texas, as far as masterminds. But I have a few products I'm getting ready to upload to my new website. And I want to be able to stay in touch with everyone here. And I want everyone to realize that, yes, they have unlimited potential inside of them and be able to help them out any way they can. I do coaching sessions via phone, not just in person. And when I coach people, I make sure that I'm the right coach for them. And if I'm not, I'll find the right coach for you, because everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a coach. I have three of them. I have Les Brown and Ruben West. And I have Terrence is one of my coaches. He's somebody who's helped me out with social media, and he's staying on top of me. So making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on social media, because I can fall off track sometimes.
Oh, I didn't know you have Ruben West. I know you have Les Brown, but I didn't know that Ruben West is also your coach. Who
Oh,
is
absolutely.
one of my coaches as well.
Yes, absolutely. I think the world of Ruben. He's given me great insight, and he's helped me a lot. Even with this last event, he wasn't there, but he's helped me and encouraged me and showed me certain things that I could do to make sure the event was successful.
He's definitely a great guy. I can't say enough of his big heart. Definitely, he's a good guy. So at this point, and just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the time that you have taken to impart in all of us today.
You're welcome. And I want to give a free gift. It's text 888